was a real tour de force. I was looking for topics for the pregame show. I was like, nope, getting nothing over here. Not happening here. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very casual Friday edition of
Let's Go.
You know what, the energy's fine. I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow the premature air horning. I'm actually going to celebrate it.
I feel like he was late. I feel like I've got the natural timing down.
All right, everybody was off. We're off the rhythm here. Guys, we have a Friday show for you. Great mailbag. We put out some questions, or put the questions, send us some stuff. Great stuff. Then I put out a secondary one saying, give me your hottest take. Got great hot takes, too. I can't wait to get to all of them. We'll dive right in. But first, I have to introduce my panel here.
I'm so uncomfortable right now. Like, I'm just so cramped in this room with this table right here.
It is. We are a little cramped, aren't we?
We need to move this table.
Yeah, I think Kale made us. Kale is trying he's trying to put us into a corner. You painted us into a corner. You're right. I can't.
This is not.
I didn't even notice it, but you're right. I'm like tucked into myself.
I'm just off my game because I'm not comfortable in the studio.
Kale, you got it. Thank you. That's Harrison Wynn. Over here, those Brendan Vogt.
What's up, fellas? Fun game last night.
Oh, it was fun.
It was a really fun game. Really cool to see Jamal do his thing. Huh?
Will you walk us through the experience of being when you miss and it's a loser's lounge? It's like, oh, haha, those. But when it's like a vibes night and it's a Friday night or Thursday.
Did you guys see me in the live chat last night?
It's fun. I'm always in the live chat when I'm off.
I was trying to get every take in, but I'm here today.
I always love it, man. It's like, damn it, I missed a good one. The biggest one was actually last year. Was it last year or the year before? Whenever Monte hit a game winner against the Lakers, I think it might have been 2 seasons ago, and I took a vacation because it was right before the All-Star break, and I'm on vacation, and this awesome-ass game is happening. That's like incredible.
It's like when you're on vacation from a game, you're just hoping the Nuggets suck that night.
I know. You're like, oh, another Pelicans loss. Good luck with that, fellas.
I'm going to take off that national TV game.
I'm telling you, my wife, though, I'm lucky. I have a great wife, and she's a huge Nuggets fan, so even on vacation, what does she want to do? She wants to watch Nuggets, too.
Wow.
We're watching Nuggets.
You chose right.
I chose right. I know exactly.
Jeez.
Here we are on vacation. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. You can use promo code DNVR. You download it. You make fun bets with us like we did last night. Man, you not only missed a winner's lounge, you missed a $50 for free bet. Although you could have made that one, actually, if you wanted to. Just sitting at home, you could have done it. Yeah, $50 just for free, man.
What are you going to do with that $50?
Lose it all back right away. Are you kidding? I can't wait. Same exact one. Guys, I have a couple things to get to first before we get to the mailbag. The first one, you guys know about the quesarito.
Correct.
Didn't think that this is where we were going to start today.
You guys know about the quesarito. When Nikola Jokic was drafted back in 2014, there was the quesarito on the TV. That's what it was, right? The quesarito. But somebody in the Discord, and maybe it came from Reddit, I don't know, so I apologize if I sourced this incorrectly, but somebody in our, the DNVR lounge, where if you're a DNVR member, you get to hang out and talk to other Nuggets fans. It's like a clean Twitter. People aren't fighting. It's like very fun.
No Sixers fans in there?
No Sixers. It's like Nuggets Twitter, but in private.
That's what Twitter wants to be, but will never be.
It really is, yeah. Get off of Elon
Everybody's
Musk's Twitter.
Verified.
Get into the DNVR lounge.
You don't have to pay for the Twitter Blue.
But somebody shared that just right before. We all know the quesarito as the prophecy, right? Like Jokic is drafted, that's it. But little did you know that before the quesarito, Jokic is actually drafted with a different image on the screen. Kale, go ahead and show us this draft. This is the actual image when Jokic was picked. Tell me this isn't an incredible. How did we focus in on the quesarito and not on the unicorn?
That's incredible.
This is a prophecy of epic proportions.
Like we're circling back to this.
I know. I just saw it. Somebody had it in the Discord, so I was like, I got to talk about
this. That's a good point. He is a unicorn.
Isn't this
the
actually
unicorn power forward?
I'm just the power forward.
It's like they knew.
I just think it's actually something. Like when Jokic was wearing the Nuggets shirt. Or sweater back when he was 5, and you're kind of like, wow, I don't know. It's like, is it really God's plan all along? And then he gives us this unicorn, and here we are talking about quesaritos.
That's awesome.
I just thought it was good.
That's wild.
The other thing I want to talk about, the Denver Nuggets right now are the 11th best offense in the NBA. They have a 113.7 offensive rating. Last year, they had a 113.8 offensive rating, so 0.1 better for the whole season. I think Denver's number is probably going to rise over the course of the season. But they are 11th ranked right now. Are they actually sneaky great on offense? And here's what I mean by that. They've been on the road. So there's that. They've played the Lakers twice. The Lakers are second best defense in the NBA by defensive rating. They've played them twice. Mm-hmm. They also played the Thunder twice, who are the 8th best defense in the NBA. They played the Utah Jazz twice, who are the 9th best defense in the NBA. And they played the Blazers, who somehow are the 11th best defense in the NBA. So that means they have played all but one of their games against top 11 defenses in the NBA. And the Nuggets are 11th best offense. And, oh, by the way, Denver's offense still, like, you know, there's been like clunky moments of it. Like, they're still figuring it out. Bones hasn't played a whole lot. I'm watching the Nuggets, and I'm looking at some of the numbers. Like, they're turning the ball over a little bit much, but the efficiency on shots has been incredible. They're the number 1 3-point shooting team right now. I actually look at this and I go, I think Denver is actually a sleeping giant offensively. We've all been a little surprised that they've been 11th. It's early, man. These numbers swing so wildly. I think Denver is sneaky good on offense, and it's disguised by the schedule and some of the stuff going on.
Still early enough in the season where ratings on either side of the ball may just as well tell you more about who you've played to date than who you are as a team. Right? Not everyone's played everyone, so that information is important. I think you're right, though, when you consider the fact that Jokic is clearly in a playmaking first mode, that Jamal, there have been some speed bumps, you know, that there have been bench minutes without Bones, and one game where they didn't even stagger.
They didn't score for like 2 or 3 minutes, you know, like.
It does feel like this is them kind of going at 60, 70% at times. That first half last night, you know, where Jokic doesn't even have to look at the rim and they're still putting up 70-plus points. That feels more like what they can do. Right. You know, of course, it's a little bit outliery in how they shot, but that's what this offense can get to when everyone's playing well. So I think they haven't even scratched the surface, Wind.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think they're a sleeping giant. Like, I think we know they're going to be elite on offense. They're an awakened giant. Like, I don't think it's any surprise that, like, they are 11th with the schedule that they've played. The reason they're not higher is because of the bench.
Right. Because
they haven't been able to score with Nikola Jokic off the floor, if you look at, like, the on-off offensive ratings. Yeah. So, yeah, they're going to be top 10. They should even be top 5. And I think they will be. Like the Nuggets offense, I think, is going to be better than they are right now throughout the rest of the season.
They are shooting the ball very, very well right now, and I don't know how sustainable that is. Number one, I think they have 5 or 6 players right now shooting 38% or higher. I had the stat earlier this morning on Lockdown, but I don't remember what it was. But it's a lot. You got Michael Porter. You've got Bruce Brown. KCP is actually the number 1 3-point shooter on the team. I mean, other than DeAndre Jordan. But KCP right now is shooting above 52% or 50%. Yep. You know that? Isn't that crazy? And he's shooting 5 a game. I think that KCP's hot start shooting has gone way under the radar because we've talked a lot about Michael Porter and about some of the other guys, Bruce Brown even. But 5 threes a game, I think that's the second most on the team.
And he's shooting like 57% from the corners, I'm pretty sure.
When those balls popping possessions end in his hands, you feel great. You feel great.
I kind of feel great. How many guys on the team do you feel great when the ball lands in their hands right now?
Michael Porter, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown right now.
I would put Bruce Brown
absolutely.
Yeah. No question, man. He's shooting.
Bones Highland. Jamal Murray.
What?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it? That's the 5? Zeke Naji, if he were to play. Christian Brown, do you feel good when the ball finds him?
No.
He's shooting 38%, 39%?
Not yet. He's just not there for me
yet.
He
hasn't taken a ton of them.
Yeah,
nonetheless, that's really 5 guys right now when the ball swings around. And by the way, it's your main 5 guys other than Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Where when the ball, and that's one of the things that has stood out to me is there's a lot of possessions where I'm watching the ball swing and I'm like, it'll get to KCP and I'd be like, oh, take it. And then he'll swing it. I'll be like, damn. But then it's Michael Porter. And I'm like, oh, wait.
Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Well,
and then he'll swing and it's Jamal. And you're like, hey, this is great.
Just last year to this year, you get Michael Porter Jr., you get Jamal Murray. They're 2 of those guys right there. You get Kenny Pope, who you feel way better when the ball leaves his hands than you did when it left Will Barton or Monte Morris's hands, despite those guys being, you know, upper 30s level shooters from 3.
Good catch
Kenny
shooters.
Pope is just on a different level.
Yep, totally.
And Bruce Brown, I don't think Bruce Brown is this good of a shooter, of course, but he shot the ball well from 3 last year. I think he's an upper 30s guy too when it all, you know, settles in. So just last year to this year, there's just way more dangerous shooters on the roster now. And that's something Calvin Booth said this summer. He's like, doesn't take a genius to know to surround Nikola Jokic with shooters.
Right.
And that's what the Nuggets have right now.
And for whoever is maybe overperforming or too hot or sure, like individually you go down the line, some of these guys will cool off. But the reason you feel good about the shooting is, at least anecdotally, not looking at the data, how many of these feel like wide open looks, feel like looks they could find again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about that, imagine how you feel defensively. Rotation. You make one mistake, and it's one of these three guys that doesn't miss open shots. By January, I think this team's gonna look like a machine.
If we're not going to speak out of the both sides of our mouth here, if we're talking about Denver has played a lot of good defenses and has been 11th, they also are really bad defensively right now, and they've played no good offenses. Portland is the 12th best offense. It's the best that they've gone against. The 13th, the Warriors are 13th, second best that they've gone against. Jazz are 15th. And then you have to scroll way down before you start to get to the Oklahoma City Thunder at 27th and the Lakers at 30th. So the fact that Denver has had a bad defensive rating so far, despite the fact that they are playing bad offensive teams, is a little concerning. But again, we'll find out if these things stabilize. The Nuggets are 5-3. All right, let's get into some of these questions from the mailbag here, shall we?
Good question.
My favorite question from today, we're going to start off with it. It was the headline here, and it comes courtesy of Flo from France. He says, after 8 games.
What up, Flo?
Is it bonjour?
Yeah, grow up, Wayne.
Read a book,
what up, dude. Is not
read a book, bro.
Jesus.
Flo, after 8 games, do you think this team misses a last piece? It's a good one. Are the Nuggets missing a piece? Are they one piece away still from based on what you've seen? You don't want this first one? I just look to you.
I mean, I think
you're record scratching. I'm giving you an open shot over here.
I think it would definitely be nice to add a next piece. But I think Denver has the team right now that it can win a championship with, when fully healthy, when Bones Highland is playing, when their top 8 are in the lineup. I think the Nuggets have a top 8 that they can win a championship with. So would another piece help? Yes. Do I think they'll flirt with adding another piece at the deadline? Yes. But do I think they can win a championship with this roster as it is right now? Yes.
What is the piece? Like, what kind of piece is it that they're
that's
missing?
why I'm with Win, because if you're nitpicking, I think you could use maybe...
I think we all know what the piece is.
A backup center and or one more...
It's a backup 4-5.
4-5. And or one more
blows
creator
my
off
mind.
the
I disagree.
bench.
Yeah.
A creator off the bench. Okay, that part, I think for sure. Although, I will say this. I want to see a sample size with Porter there.
And Bones healthy. Totally.
That's what I mean.
Totally.
Because Bones and Porter you might actually not need a second creator. It might actually work out.
I don't think you need another creator.
So I don't know if that's it.
I'm being
he said
picky.
a 4-5. What is
that's what I was going to say.
Really?
As well. Yeah, I think you're down.
The Nuggets have this as 4s right now. 5 part of it. Maybe it's just a 5, but here's the 4s. You have Aaron Gordon, you have Jeff Green, you have Zeke Naji, and you have Michael Porter.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your 4. And then if you want to go deeper than that, you have Vlatko Čančar or what have you. But to me, Denver has a lot of guys that can play the 4. The 5, okay, I'll grant you that. DeAndre Jordan, is he the guy? I don't know. When you get to a playoffs, though, it becomes less important. In the regular season, I do think that we'll see. I'm not ready even to say DeAndre Jordan because I kind of think he's been good this year. He's done the rebounding. He's done some stuff. Like, that's not the anchor to me. The part I look at is Denver has some good perimeter defenders, especially with Christian Brown, coming in. I know they haven't been effective yet, and that's its own question. But look, Bruce Brown, KCP, Christian Brown, those are guys that I think are good perimeter defenders. Inside, you've got Aaron Gordon, who's been very good. You do have DeAndre Jordan. And you've got, Jeff Green, who I think knows how to guard. I mean, last night you got the defensive player of the game chain. Like, he knows how to guard. And you have Zeke Naji, who's a good defender. To me, it's the 3. You have, right now, the backup, Davon Reed playing minutes here, again, who I just don't think he is in your playoff rotation. I don't think that's a guy that can play. And you have guys like Christian Brown who are 6'7", but we saw last night, I think you just need guys that are like 6'8", maybe a little bit 6'7", but a little bit longer. Just like 6'8". You need those types of guys who aren't necessarily forwards, but they can get out on the perimeter and guard the Shays, who's, by the way, like a guard, but enormous. To me, that's what they're missing. Michael Porter is the offensive version of that. They have 6'7" and below guards, KCP and what have you, and then they have the big guys. I don't think they have a 3 that can defend that just gives you an extra body there. So to me, that's what I look at. But what's interesting about that for me, because I do think that Denver is probably one piece away. I actually kind of do. And I want to see how it all comes together. I think they can be great. But when you win a championship, you just need so many defensive bodies. Peyton Watson is not going to be that guy this year, I don't think. I would be pretty shocked if he was. But he kind of is the body type I'm talking about and the player mold I'm talking about. If you had a fully formed, like Peyton Watson 2 years from now, if he hits all of his indicators, that to me, he's exactly what they need. A defensive-minded guy who, like...
That's why they drafted him.
In theory, would he be a guy that guards Shea?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, he's taller than Shea. He's really long, and that's what he's supposed to do, is be able to block shot. He blocks jumpers, and he keeps you in front and blocks from behind and all those kinds of things. So to me, can Denver find one of those guys that's like an Otto Porter, I guess? That they're not like high usage guys, but there's somebody that you can count on 10 to 15 minutes to be an elite defender who's not a negative on offense.
Otto Porter, elite defender?
I mean, Otto Porter's a good player. He had a very good year for them last year. Yeah. Again, you're not going to find an elite perimeter defender.
Right.
You're going to find a cheap guy who can be a defensive player for you for
I just
10
think
minutes.
finding an impact backup front court player is a lot more likely than finding an impact small forward.
Yeah, but I'm not asking what's likely. I'm asking what Denver needs to plug up to show up all the holes.
Mm-hmm.
So do you agree with it now that I've made the argument?
No, I still think a 4-5 is more important. But
they have so many fours, though. They have like 7 fours.
Do you really want to play Zeke Naji in the playoffs?
I mean, we'll see. We'll find out. But to me, I have
How many minutes do you want to play Jeff Green in the playoffs?
10, 15, but that's what you play.
I want a guy that you can play a little more than that.
You think Denver needs that? I mean, Jokic is going to play a lot. Jamal Murray's going to play a lot. Aaron Gordon's going to play a lot. Those guys are all KCP's going to play a lot. That's already 4 guys that are 30-plus minutes. Yeah. And in the playoffs, they're probably 36-plus minutes.
I think you need a guy that can defend the 4-5 that's not on the roster right now.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The 4 is just not the spot that I'm concerned about with these guys. Let us know. I'm curious what everybody else here thinks. But to me, Denver is. Here's the thing. They do have some pieces, and we look at this, and you go, what is the best move if Denver is to make a move? And you need to get a good 6'7", 6'8" wing defender who guards 2s, 3s, and maybe a little bit of 4s. If you can find one of those guys, but it's going to cost you, what are the surplus of talents that you have that maybe you have to give up?
Well, Zeke Naji, obviously,
probably
is the most likely to be traded at this point.
Probably.
Ish Smith, you can give up in a deal.
Yeah.
Vlotko, you could give up in a deal.
And those guys don't have any value. Those are just salaries.
They're salary matchers. Other than that, I don't know if you're going to be wanting to give up anybody else that's playing right now.
Bones Highland is the best trade piece. I'm not trying to trade him away. I'm just saying it might come to that, where if Denver has even Peyton Watson, I just talked about 2 years from now, he might be the guy. Is Denver's timeline not there? Is he having a really good G League? And it's you know what? We like this guy. He'll be good in 2 years, but we got to move on and to be able to get that guy.
You trade Bones, you're running dangerously low on guys that can put the ball on the floor, make plays. In my opinion,
maybe you are. Maybe Ish ends up going into that route. I'm just saying, those are the things you have to look at and say, where are you most in need? And I do think Denver is most at need right now at a defensive-minded 6'7" player.
Yeah.
That's not a negative on offense.
That'd be great.
Like a 0 on offense. So
that'd be great.
Maybe they'll find one. But it was a good question. So tell us, do you think that the Nuggets are one piece away? Or do they have all the pieces that they need? Should we take a break?
Sure.
Let's take a break. We got more mailbag questions here on the other side. I'm going to read these comments now to see what people are saying. Yes or no?
Yes or no to what? Oh, do they need another piece?
Somebody said Josh Primo.
He's not 6'7". Guys, make sure to pick up your tickets for concerts, shows, events, whatever you need, sporting events. Make sure you're using the Game Time app. Use our link in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, scroll down. It's right there in the description. If you're listening to this as a podcast, it's also in the podcast description. But don't mess around comparing all these different third-party sites. Download the Game Time app with our link. Use Game Time if you need tickets to concerts, shows, sporting events. They've got these great last-minute price drops. Game Time. It's a great app that a lot of people are using right now. It's really convenient. You don't have to mess around with all those other third-party sites. Download the Game Time app. Use our link if you're looking for tickets for concert shows and sporting events this year. Also, the NBA is obviously back. Basketball is back. So to tip off the season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, they're offering this for new customers. You can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet. Get $200 in free bets if your team wins. In addition, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Make any $5 bet this week. Get $200 in free bets if your team wins only at DraftKings Sportsbook. With promo code DNVR, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Done? Back here? Ready for more questions? All right, let's get into the mailbag. Let's go deep into the mailbag here. Joshua asks, how concerned should we be that Bones will be injury-prone moving forward?
I'm somewhat worried about the ankles, which flared up earlier in the season. I'm kind of relieved these last couple of games are the hip and not the ankles for that reason. Because, look, those can be lingering issues for guards.
Yeah, Nuggets have been derailed by hips, though, man.
I mean, that too. Bones is like a really skinny guy. I honestly think every time he falls over, he probably hurts his hip. So, I mean, yeah, there's the
bruised hip.
Yeah, it's literally exposed. So I'm concerned that's a part of it. A little bit, but it's the ankles that concern me. I think missing a couple of games because of his hip, I have to wait and see more before I flag that a problem.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a concern with him. It's probably going to be a concern with him throughout the next couple of years at least. I mean, he's just the guy who we have seen, just naturally gets little knick-knack injuries. Rolled ankle here, sprained ankle there, the hip thing now. He's just has a body type that I think is prone to those types of injuries. So it's definitely a concern that I'm always thinking about with him.
I'm not. To me, there's not a big enough sample size. This hip thing didn't seem. I mean, he played on Tuesday or whatever in practice, according to Michael Malone. So to me, this sounds like just a little one-off thing. I'm not too concerned. I am concerned overall, just because, like you said, small guards in general are more vulnerable.
He's just had a lot of these.
But I'm not
already
concerned, given the games he's missed so far in his career. I think it's sort of to be expected. Again, not that many rookies, especially guards, play as many minutes as he did last year.
That's true. So that's a great point.
I think there's just any time you play an 82-game schedule, you're more likely than not to have little bang-ups here or there. But it's a good question. Philip asks, why is Chucky not in the rotation? I think he can help a lot as a reliable guy. Where would he play?
Well, he's played a lot of different positions over the last.
But I'm
couple
saying
of
in
years.
this rotation, is he over Jeff Green, over DeAndre Jordan, over Zeke Naji?
No, he's probably playing. If he was playing, I guess it would be at the backup 3.
I think you answered it earlier.
He's taller than Christian Brown. He's taller than Bruce Brown.
Yeah, but he's not I like him, but he's not mobile.
I know. I mean, I don't think he should be playing.
They just have a bunch of 4s, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good you feel about them, they just have a lot of them.
I'm one of Chad and Char's biggest fans, but I just don't think he's here to play. I think he's here to be in case you need him, and he'll play.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I would look at him as an assistant coach.
The Hamburglar asks, what is one thing you would change to make the NBA better on court and off the court? This one requires some thought.
Wow, that's deep for a Friday.
I have my one theory I have here, because I just think the NBA is too much of a gimmick right now in favor of guards, that I would change the defensive 3 seconds to defensive 5 seconds. I would allow bigs a little bit more leeway in the paint.
I've heard that one.
The only
before.
other thing that you could maybe do is shrink the paint just a little bit, because right now I think there's just too much room for bigs to cover to check out of the paint, get back in. So one of those two things, defensive 5 seconds, or just make it the interior line on the paint and maybe even move it in. I mean, I don't know. I just think that's the easiest fix to make it so that guards don't get to just run into an empty paint all game, which is what happens right now.
Yeah. Man, that's a good question.
The other thing I would do, man, you guys, this is easy for me. The other one I would do is players signing 5-year max contracts have no trade clauses both ways that cannot be waived for 2 years. I don't think if you sign a max deal, you can't demand a trade the first time you have it opt out. To me, not only can you not demand it, no fan base should have to worry about it in year 1 of a 5-year deal.
Totally.
It should be like, oh, sweet, we signed him. That's 2, maybe 3 years. We don't have to ever worry about whether or not he could be traded.
Yeah.
I hate the way if everything around a screen is officiated.
Yeah.
You just kind of can't fight through it at all. And with the factors you were mentioning, about how easy it is to score in the paint right now, and then how afraid you have to be on the perimeter, combined with the fact that if you sneeze on someone while they're shooting, it's 3 free throws. At the very least, you should be able to fight through a screen without a whistle. And it just felt like you can't do that anymore.
I would like to see coaches wear suits again. That's a change I would like to make.
Wind is big on this. This is such...
Wind's worn sweatpants to work like half the time the last years.
That's so true.
I started dressing down when the coaches started dressing down.
I love it. That's the greatest win take ever. Whose fault is it?
How
is
can
it
I wear a suit to a game when a coach is wearing a sweatshirt?
Oh, man.
There's nothing I hate more than a suit.
I'm with you on that.
I just hate a suit. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I like a good suit.
Yeah, I know you do. I've seen you many a time. Nolan says, was it me or did Jokic have some really bad non-contests at the basket last night?
Yeah.
He almost seems like he's playing defense like he's in foul trouble. The reason I love this one is because I've legitimately had this exact thought.
Last
where I'm
night.
like, he's playing like he has foul. I was like, man, how many fouls does he have? Zero.
Zero.
What are you doing?
Yep, there was one last night. I literally looked it up after.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't think it's just you. I will say, I asked Michael Malone about this earlier this week, saying, like, how would you evaluate Jokic? And he went out of his way basically to say, the guards need to do a better job. They're putting him in bad spots. I think that both things are true. And I wonder if there's a little bit of Jokic, like, I'm not going to save anyone and put my neck out there right now.
But they also went out and got better defensive guards and then got worse on D. Like, I think we can call it what it is. I think Jokic could certainly try a lot harder on defense.
The offensive load for him seems easier than it has in years past.
Yeah.
But yet the defensive effort has gone down also. So you're kind of like, hold on, what's going on here?
Totally.
Yeah. Should I do my defense spiel right now that I was going to do last night?
What do you have?
Okay. So last night, it did not give me any more confidence in Denver's defense rebounding. And I kind of grew more concerned. Like last night
with their defensive rebounding?
With the defense turning around.
Yeah, with just the defense.
Oh.
Because,
thanks, buddy.
Look, the Nuggets had practice for 2 days before last night's game. They were off for 3 days. Michael Malone spent the entire week just harping on defense and how Denver is going on the road, and he's concerned about the defense because they've been awful defensively on the road. And that was the focus of like the Nuggets' 2 practices, before this OKC game. That's all they've been talking about. And the fact that they played defense like they did for those first 3 quarters after the messaging from Michael Malone, like the entire week leading up to this game, and Denver to come out defensively like that was really concerning. And I've got to think there's like his message isn't getting delivered like it should, because for him to like harp on defense like he did, and for Denver just to come out and defend like that after the week of practice that they had, and what Malone's like what he was telling his guys leading up to that game about how they need to defend, and for that to happen, like that made me a little more concerned than I had been, just because I expected a better response from the Nuggets players after the last couple days leading into that game.
I had this discussion with Matt Moore today because I think the hard part about doing what we do, which is talk about these teams, some people will say, well, Harrison, are you saying that they need to fire Michael Malone, or that Michael Malone is incompetent at teaching a defense? Maybe. What you're saying is you are diagnosing a problem, saying there's something wrong here.
Yeah,
there's something wrong that this team emphasized defense, had 2 days to clean up their defense, and then came out and looked like they had no improvement on the defensive end. Like
right. There's just something that is like breaking down in communication there, it feels like.
Or maybe in diagnostics.
Yeah.
I've always said this on the best example for this for me is I always would get frustrated when a coach will harp on turnovers. We got to stop turning over, because nobody wants to turn it over.
Right.
And sometimes there are turnovers that are like, I was just being careless with the ball. But sometimes if you're harping on it, like, we're being careless, maybe there's another reason that the turnovers are happening and you haven't diagnosed why. And I kind of have to think this is what's going on with the Nuggets defense, is that being diagnosed properly. And maybe it is an X's and O's thing, a scheme thing. Maybe it is a personnel thing. But I also wonder, maybe it is a Michael Malone thing. I don't know. What I'm saying is that is one answer for it. Another answer, and I brought this up on Locked On today, but I think it's something I've been thinking about. Last night in the third quarter, Jamal Murray started yelling at guys. Did you notice it?
Mm-hmm. I went back and watched,
including Michael Porter, and especially Michael Porter. But he starts yelling at guys, and I think Michael Malone after the game kind of laughed because he was like, "Give me the ball," or this or that. He wasn't even yelling at the defense; He was yelling about something else. But my point is, Jamal Murray elevated the intensity of that game from Denver's perspective in a way that no other player really has a knack for doing, and Jamal Murray did. And then guess what? The defense picked up. And I'm not trying to say the solve to the defense was Jamal Murray screaming at guys, but maybe it. So when we say like, oh, there's a problem, there's a disconnect, this or that, must be Michael Malone. Again, he's the coach, so it always falls on the coach at the end of the day. But part of me wonders if, like, what if it's as simple as this team needs somebody that just calls people out for their shitty defense?
Yeah, maybe it is.
That's
maybe
not Michael Malone. Like, the coach is calling you out, like, whatever. He's always calling out.
Right.
But Jamal Murray is sitting over here like, yo, Bruce, we brought you in for defense.
Right.
He's cooking you. Like,
and he's the other star playing hard. And look, to me, the difference between, if you want to find one, Jokic and Giannis, more than the defensive prowess, is this. Like, if you're on the Bucks this year and you're showing up for work,
right?
You know who else is showing up to work today? Giannis.
Right.
And he's going to work harder than you on both sides of the ball. And it's not just about the prowess, it's the effort. And so if I see Giannis going that hard in this 5-0 start after we've already won together, he wants another one.
7-0.
Or 7-0, thank you. Time has passed. I'm damn sure not going to be the reason we lose our first game. Right. I'm showing up and I'm playing. And to be honest, right now, I've said this before, but there are enough reasons to look at everything and say, well, if they're not crossing their T's, I'm not going to dot my I's, you know? And I think some of that is Jokic. I think some of it is like all of this is just kind of, well, it'll fix itself, you know? And maybe it will, but he's a guy who can set the tone, right? So if he's playing like it all matters on that end, I have full confidence more guys will respond to that. Similarly to how they responded to Jamal's, one of the best players saying, wake up, we can't lose this game. And that can be done through example as much as it can be just screaming.
Well, I agree with you in your broader point, because I do think that there's something here about Jokic can be a little passive-aggressive, he can be a little mopey or this or that, where it's like, hey, find a way to communicate to these guys, but also show them and this or that. The one thing difference I will say is Giannis's trait is his motor. That is his best skill, is his body and his motor. Jokic is much more, I always use the sledgehammer and scalpel, right? Giannis is a sledgehammer. He beats you because he just like brutally gets to the rim and just like keeps like doing this. Jokic is a tactician. And so I think that for Giannis's style, the intensity and this and that is more important and more wired into the DNA of him, whereas Jokic is like much more of a, we need to do this right. I'm not going to run through a wall to make up for you doing the wrong thing over and over again. And I don't agree with the approach. Like, leadership is figuring out how to get both things accomplished, but I do think that this is one different important distinction between the two of those guys.
That's a really good point.
Let's get a couple more in here, shall we? Buckets says, is Jokic just playing possum for the first month of the year to give Giannis a nice cushion so he doesn't have to worry about winning the MVP again? That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Of course he is. Of course that's what he's doing. He doesn't want the MVP again.
That is
ridiculous question.
That's actually very much a factor, I think.
Yeah, he's like, God, are they really going to try to come to Sombor again next summer?
Did we ruin Jokic's season?
I just don't want the Nuggets to come to Sombor again.
I'm telling you, just whatever it takes to not do that ever again in your life, boys. In all sincerity, here's the funny thing. Has the MVP conversation entered yet? I feel like every ESPN analyst is too worried to be the first.
They don't
want
to be the first.
They don't want to be the first guy. But once it is, the floodgates are going to open, and they're all looking.
I will say this Harden injury is going to work out really well for Joel Embiid's candidacy.
Oh, is this the pity MVP's coming?
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
If we're doing this,
the pity MVP.
I mean, Giannis is probably leading MVP.
If we had a MVP ladder right now, I don't think Jokic is in the top 10. Fair or not, it's just like it doesn't fit. And so, like, how much longer do you have to do this to where you're eliminated from contention?
Probably only a couple more weeks. I mean, the initial narrative, really.
He's like, you think Jokic's checking like ESPN? He's checking DNVR. He's checking everything.
Jokic's people are conducting their own straw poll.
That's what I was going to say. Like, he's over here, like, why is no one talking about the MVP?
2-week straw poll.
I want to start playing hard,
like,
but I need to be
you're not in the top 10.
List.
You're on a good pace here.
Yeah. He's calling up bond temps. He's like, can we get one of those polls out, man? I've been terrible. I'm trying to not be on the list.
The correlation between the Nuggets' defensive rating and the first MVP poll when Jokic isn't on it, they just take off.
So I thought that was a funny one. Eric asks, this is a great question. Rank these from most likely to least likely this year. Jokic MVP, Michael Porter Jr. MIP, Bones 6th Man of the Year, Christian Brown Rookie of the Year, Bruce Brown Defensive Player of the Year, Malone Coach of the Year, and Calvin Booth Executive of the Year. Dead last on this one to me Christian Brown for Rookie of the Year is like impossible.
That's impossible.
That like, come on, that can't
Like a 0% chance.
Because there's a lot of good rookies, and you don't win a Rookie of the Year by being a 7th man that guards and doesn't put up
Defensive
stats.
discipline, baby.
Yeah, like that's just so it can't be him. And also like Paolo Banchero's averaging like 23 points.
The Rookie of the Year race might be over already.
Paolo's unreal.
No, because Mathurin is also averaging like 20. But there's some rookies.
You got one thing I could do because I wasn't with you fellas last night. At half, I flipped over to the end of Golden State Orlando.
Do you enjoy that,
dude? Orlando is so fun to watch.
They are fun. That's my team.
They may not be good, but they are a great watch. Also, more minutes for Bull and RJ. Unreal.
I think Bruce Brown winning Defensive Player of the Year is like really.
That's not going to happen.
That's just so.
Well, no player on this roster is winning Defensive Player of the Year.
MPJ. Oh, hold on. Let me see the next toughest one. I think Bones Highland at 6th Man of the Year is honestly kind of tough.
Does Calvin have a chance?
Absolutely.
I think Calvin Booth at
Calvin Booth and Michael Malone, I think, might be the two most likely.
I think you're right on both accounts. I would say that Calvin Booth Executive of the Year feels slightly more likely than Michael Malone Coach of the Year at this very moment. I think after that, Jokic for MVP is probably the next best bet. Like, we're joking, but he's still averaging almost a triple-double. He's like 4 assists away from averaging a triple-double, so it's not like...
And to be clear, the charge is he's not trying hard yet. Not that he can't do it.
Like, okay, so he's at a triple-double almost, give or take a little bit. Nuggets are 5-3. You're telling me that the Nuggets can't be the number 1 seed in the West? He's averaging a 24-point triple-double by the end of the year. Those numbers are all so... possible, maybe even likely, other than the number 1 seed. That part still feels hard, but all the other numbers are like, I mean, come on. So him winning an MVP is not that crazy, but I don't think it's going to happen. Everything else, even Michael Porter Most Improved, to me feels like it's just so hard.
What seed do the Nuggets have to be for Michael Malone to win Coach of the Year? 2?
Man, I'm telling you, if that happens though, are they looking at Calvin Booth? Is he winning it? Like, who gets rewarded if it's just narrative based?
It's Booth. It's Booth. Because they made these changes.
could see it being Malone. Yes, they did bring in some key personnel, but from Malone's perspective, it's like, yes, we brought in all this new personnel, and I had to incorporate Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back into things.
Okay. I think it's good. We at least agree that Booth and Malone seem number 1 and 2. Jokic number 3, and all the other ones just seem so impossible.
By the way, Jokic is shooting a career high from the field, 59.4%.
Is he really?
Yeah.
It feels like he's missed everything.
I know. Career high, 59.4%
threes per game? How many? Is it lower than the season past?
I believe so. Yes. 2.4 this year, 3.9 last year.
This is honestly the difference. He's just not taking a lot of threes, and so his 2-point percentage is always up, so his field goal percentage is up. That's how it's going. Let's get one more before our second break here. Jokic's delicious revenge asks, what will happen first? Jokic 50-point game, Murray 40-point game, Michael Porter 40-point game, or Bones Highland 35-point game? I love this question. You guys brought it today. Great work.
Oh, I now think it's Jamal Murray.
Jamal for 40.
I'm kind of convinced MPJ will never do it. Because either he'll stop shooting or they will just stop giving him the ball. But it happens every time you're like, he's on track for 75,000 points. They're like, yeah, but what about defense? Get Bruce in there.
Porter's so funny because his shot is so unblockable and he's so good at getting it off at this or that, but he really doesn't have that much dynamic to his game, or at least he hasn't shown it. So it does feel hard to give a guy that many scoring chances because it's almost hard to get him scoring chances.
He's never going to be on ball enough.
Yeah.
But
Jokic 50-point game is going to be tough if he's not shooting it in first quarters.
That's a good point, Harrison.
Actually, it would be hilarious for Jokic.
He's got to do that in 3 quarters.
Saturday to come out and score 50, and he's back to averaging 27 a game after 1 game. It just raises his total.
And he just flips us off in the presser and wants to, which,
Bones for 35?
Bones heats up. Bones is the player that we just haven't quite gotten to see. Because has he missed 3 games now? I think he's missed 3. We just haven't quite.
The only opportunity Bones might have to do that is on a back-to-back when Jamal Murray's resting.
I don't know, man. When he forget just because of recency, but like when he gets hot, you play him a lot of minutes. You're just like, hey, this guy's on fire. Let's keep him in.
I I might say Jamal.
I think it's Jamal.
40.
After watching last
Jamal
night.
for 40.
What did he have last night? 24?
Yeah, it wasn't. But again, we've only seen him have it for like a quarter or two at a time. And I think
I'll go Jamal.
Is Jamal back? How back is he, and how much did last night help? Those questions, man. Like,
he had 24 last night.
We're all. They were almost all in the second half. I think he had like 5 at halftime.
Yeah,
16 in the second half.
16 in the second. So he had 8. So I just think that Jamal. I don't think he's back. But, like, I'm more confident in him being back shortly after last night. And if that's the case, then 40 points is on the table every night. Like, how far away are we from 40 being on the table every night?
Totally. Well, and here's the thing about Jamal, too. Like, when he goes and gets this stuff, it's not... This is how he goes out and gets it. It's, like, improbable. It's back against the wall. Like, we need... It would be on brand for him to score 40 before he gets back to 100%. Yeah. You know, there's just something about... And last night... I wrote in the grades, it was Jamal's turn for a reminder game that he can just sort of bring that out of himself, even if external circumstances, don't bring that out of everyone else. Jamal drags it out of himself. So I could see him just willing himself to 40.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, I have to give a shout out to Mike Singer yesterday. I watched the Jamal Murray press conference. I thought it was a very good one, very insightful one. And basically, he's the only guy on the road, him and Chris Dempsey, one person from altitude and then him. And he had like 7 questions last night, and they were all good, and Jamal gave really, really great. I have to give a shout out to Jamal Murray, too, because I feel like he's just been way better with media this year. And that we all know it's not hard to be the only guy in a presser, and like to get 7 to 8 questions off, just like,
totally.
That's not an easy thing, so I got to give him credit, because I really enjoyed watching Murray's presser yesterday after the game and on that. So I think Murray, number 1. I think Porter, number 2. You're right that it is hard, but, man, he just makes threes, man. 8 threes.
Well, every time he hits a single
he'd probably need to shoot like 10 plus threes in that game.
Yeah. Which also
2 games
very
ago,
well could happen.
2 games ago, I thought Michael Porter was right there on the cusp of like my huge breakout. Last 2 games haven't necessarily seen it that much, but you know what? Maybe it just goes back.
You know what's funny though, man? I was writing the grades and I was like, tough night for Porter from the field. And then I check 3 of 6 from 3.
Yeah, of course, 3 of 6. He's back up to 49%, and. Man, next I might go Jokic 50. Here's the thing. If Jokic wanted 50, if he just wanted it, wouldn't he go out and get it?
Yeah.
Don't you feel like he could get a 50 if he wanted to?
He might have been able to get it last night.
Last night he could have totally got it. At one point, I think the Nuggets are the number 1 3-point shooting team in the NBA right now. At one point, he's going to go, they're sticking their guard to me one-on-one.
Right.
Just see how long it is they're going to stick with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it'll be 1 or 2 quarters, and he'll have 28 points.
Yeah. Like what he did in the third quarter last night. I mean, he only scored 8 points, but it was just like 4 layups.
He gets them whenever he wants.
Through Mike Muscala.
And to the credit of his genius, like after the first half of everyone in a Nuggets uniform hitting a 3, they were just like, we're not doubling.
Right.
We're not sending help. We're going to leave Mike. You're going to leave Contavious.
Yeah.
I like the thought that they call him Contavious in their head.
Yeah, that's what they do. Bones 35. These all feel likely to me, though. They all feel super possible. That's what's fun. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we got one more question that I think is a good one, and then we're going to do some hot box and hot takes, including your hot box and hot takes.
Whoa, I got to think of mine.
Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of DNVR. They've got polos, hats, golf bags, and a beer sleeve. An innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers.
7 beers
right inside of your golf bag, and it keeps them cold.
How good of a golfer are you at 7 beers?
Round, terrible.
Yeah, what's the beer pong equation?
Terrible.
2 beers in, you're great.
You're a little calm or whatever, but you're a little sloppy. And then 7 beers in, like oh my god,
you're done.
You shouldn't be driving a golf cart at 7 beers, to be honest with you.
Check out pinsandaces.com. Use code DNVR to get 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's at pinsandaces.com. Also at Hassel Cattle Company right now, you guys can go to Hassel Cattle Company, enter the code DNVR20, get 20% off your entire order, get 20% off your bag of beef with the code DNVR20 at HassleCattleCompany.com. It's the best damn Wagyu beef you'll ever eat. That's legit too. There's a difference with Hassel Cattle Company compared to any other beef that you're eating out there. It's cheaper in the long run too if you're somebody who, cooks meat a lot. HassleCattleCompany.com. Use code DNVR20 for 20% off your order. That's at HassleCattleCompany.com. Use the code DNVR20. Also, Athletic Greens with 1 scoop of Athletic Greens and a cup of water, the beginning of every day, every single morning. You're getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. If you want better gut health, if you want more energy in your daily life, if you want to optimize your immune system, all you need to do is drink 1 cup of Athletic Greens every single morning. Go to athleticgreens.com/nuggets, athleticgreens.com/nuggets to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Alrighty, back here, segment 3, wrapping up a Friday edition of the show. Guys, tomorrow is our takeover.
Let's go.
Very excited for the takeover. If you're a part of the party bus, of course, you want to be there. We're going to be recording. I know people don't always love this. We're going to pre-record the pregame show tomorrow a little early, but you guys still have it. So if you're not here, we'll have a pregame show. We'll be talking about all the same stuff. It'll be great. 5 o'clock, we're going to be done. We're going to be downstairs. I recommend the bus leaves at 6 o'clock. The bus tomorrow leaves at 6 o'clock for the arena. I recommend you get here around 5 or earlier, but you can be here at 5. You have dinner here at the bar. We have some great new food, a whole new kitchen staff, whole new menu, whole new ingredients. Get some food, grab a beer or two. Then we'll all hop on the bus together and ride over. Actually, I think only Vogt and I think you'll be on the bus. I'm not sure if I'll be on. I think I might be driving over, but meeting everybody at the arena. So you'll be without me for 10 minutes.
You'll survive.
You'll survive. But it's going to be a great time. If you are not on the party bus and you do not have a ticket, still come to the DNVR bar tomorrow, because when we get back, it's Saturday night at the DNVR bar. We'll have a post-game show. You never know what surprises might pop up. And then afterwards, we're all just going to hang out downstairs having beers and talking Nugs. If the Nugs get a win tomorrow, you better believe I want to be downstairs hearing everybody in-person hot takes on the Denver Nuggets. I want to talk Nuggets with you guys. Tomorrow's a great opportunity for that, before the game, after the game. But if you're not on the bus, you missed out on this one, still come down to the bar. All right. Marcus asks, did we settle on who is the new Mr. Nugget? I feel like Bruce Brown is the clear number 1 contender at the moment.
Wow.
The answer is no, we have not. No, we have not. But we did a very good thing by saying that you cannot declare Mr. Nugget in the offseason. It has to happen in the season. Don't you feel like
that's
that
in the
question
Constitution
has significantly different context now that we've watched some games?
It does.
Do you feel like we've watched enough games to know the answer to that?
I don't.
I don't either.
Me neither. So no, the seat still vacant.
Can I ask you guys who's leading your personal race?
For me personally, it's probably Bones and Bruce Brown. Bones still the vibe. Bones has kind of had a tough season so far in that he's missed 3 of 8 games or whatever. So like we just haven't seen a whole lot. And then as I mentioned earlier, I think he was thrown a difficult situation early on. I do think the bench is coming into clarity a little bit more, and I would not be surprised if on Saturday night Bones plays, has a great game, and it's a party.
Right.
And like you're kind of reminded of it. That being said, Bruce Brown fits a lot of the Mr. Nugget qualities that you like. Bones is a vibes master. Bruce Brown is
He's
like
in
a
the
hustler.
6'3" to 6'5" range.
Exactly. He's in that range of size. You're right. It will be funny to find out what the tallest Mr. Nugget in history will be. But he just hustles, man.
It's Gary Harris.
Being a hustler is like a big part of this. And like he's a hustler. He seems to fit with a lot of different combos. I don't know. There's those guys. Aaron Gordon still has a little argument in this. Christian Brown is maybe like a year early on it. But
the scary thing about Bruce is, this could be a short-term stint in Denver for Bruce.
But it doesn't change the fact that he is here now.
Yeah, you can have a 1-year Mr. Nugget tenor.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, though. Bones and AG for me are the leaders in the clubhouse.
AG and Bones?
AG and Bones. But I think Bones, I gave my endorsement to AG in the summer, but I have to admit that I think Bones is leading the race right now.
Well,
what do you think?
Bones is leading the race for sure. Yeah.
All right, we'll find out what the chat thinks, but it's funny because it definitely feels like we need a little bit of time. We just need a little bit of more scoping this out. All right, let's do some hot box and hot takes, shall we? You guys want a little hot box and hot takes?
Let's do it.
Light me up.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find where this tweet
promo
was
code. Oh, we don't have that anymore.
All right, here it is. I got it. We got a lot of good ones. I'm going to read you guys some other people's hot box and hot takes.
Let's go. Get me in the mood.
Dylan Hackett says, as a team, the Nuggets will have the highest three-point percentage for a season all time. 43%. First of all, the 96-97 Hornets are number 1, 43%. You know about that year? They moved the line forward.
Yeah.
That's not even real. Throw them out. They don't count.
They're frauds.
Second is 42% by the 15-16 Golden State Warriors. Can they get there? They'd have to raise their percent. I think they're at 41.7%.
No way.
They're at 41.7%.
It's awesome.
So they're not that far off, like 2 or 3 made threes away.
But they'd have to raise it.
But they'd have to raise it to get to that spot. That's a really hot take. I'm going to give it 4 peppers.
Yeah, it's hot.
Actually, I'm going to give it 5 peppers.
That's a 5 pepper.
That's a 5 pepper take. It's a 5 pepper take.
It's not 0% though. That's why it's a great hot take.
It's also a fun one. Like, that's a great creative one,
is.
man. Half of having a good hot take is it being creative. That's
a good point.
You hotboxed well there. Miroslav says, what if I tell you that the third best nugget in this year's playoffs isn't on the roster yet? The third best player is not on the roster.
I'd be disappointed.
Oh, I'm telling you, this one to me,
Who are they trading
3.5 peppers.
Kevin Durant?
3.5 peppers. Yeah, look.
Oh
Are you telling me
that
that
would suck?
Look, a Michael Porter trade for a Jimmy Butler, a Michael Porter trade for a Kevin Durant, Michael Porter trade for some player we don't foresee yet. I wouldn't be that surprised. Or a Jamal Murray trade or something like that. I would be surprised too. That's why it's 3.5. But it's
You
not.
said you just said you wouldn't be that surprised.
I'm saying it's a 3.5 pepper surprise. It's not a 5 pepper.
Okay.
If they were the number 1 3-point shooting team in all time, I'd be like, I'm very surprised.
It just bums me out, man. We're so far away from the brightest timeline and they did it the right way thing already as it is. Like, if you flip another piece of the core for KD, like, I'm sure we all just want to see the title.
KD definitely.
That's just
KD
the Brooklyn
definitely.
Nets in Denver. Like,
Jimmy Butler?
You know.
That'd be great.
Yeah, actually, I could get behind that one. But
you're right. Let's not do it.
Good
It's
enough.
weird. I don't like talking about
to
trading
make a trade,
guys.
just go be good
We love
enough.
him, PJ. The brightest timeline.
I think that's a 5 pepper take from Miroslav.
The real fun is
Third
that
best
Michael Porter
player?
just kicks
That's
ass.
it.
And
That's what I wanna
everything
see.
clicks.
He's good,
He's
man.
working so hard.
He's
Let's
working
reward him
hard.
by
He's a
not
good
talking
player.
about trading
Just go
him.
win the title.
J Rock, the homie, says, hot take here. Jokic is purposely not scoring to keep himself out of the MVP debate. We talked about this earlier.
That's a 2
It's
pepper
backfiring as he will average a solid triple-double. I love it.
Yeah.
So true.
That's Serbian karma.
Everything
right there.
about that's accurate.
Jokic was trying to throw 23 turnovers yesterday, and he only ended up with 10 and 13 assists.
Right.
It's like, damn it, I was throwing that one away. I'm just too good.
Yeah.
The play, by the way, I put this on Twitter. Can you find it? Actually, go to my Twitter, Kale, and pull it up. The play from last night where it might be the number one best orchestration of Jokic's career. He's had a lot of doozies, and he's had more. But watch this one. He says, no, you throw to there, and you walk over there. Watch. Because people don't know the play. You gotta make it. Yeah, there you go. He goes, throw it over there, walk over there. Okay, now you come this
pass
way.
it back to me.
And now you cut,
And
then
now you
cut.
come here.
And then cut. Now shot fake. Yeah.
They can't
okay.
help off
Like,
Mike. Yeah.
dude, watch it again. Let it play one more time because I want to watch how much energy Jokic expends here. He's standing. He's pointing. He's standing. He's standing. He's standing. He's like,
This is why I say he plays a different game than everybody else. He's playing a different game.
play is hilarious.
It's awesome.
He literally just walks like it's not really walking. He's just shuffling his feet a little, and he creates a wide open layup with a defense that's literally watching him orchestrate here. Yeah, see, layup.
Was that Jalen with the low man there that ends up contesting? Because the other thing too is he's got Porter in the corner.
Yeah.
So he sees.
But
Bruce.
that's actually so. Go back and pull this up
Yeah.
again. I'll tell you what's actually going on in this play. There's actually only one piece of this this is why Jokic does things that are masterful. Pause it when I tell you this part. He's just trying to get the proper exchange, get the shooter on the weak side. Now right here, pause it. All that's happening right now is he knows with an empty corner, they're going to jump out and try to switch this, right?
Yeah.
That's all he knows. So he does a little fake jab step. So they think the switch happens. Both run at Jokic. Go ahead and play. They both run out. That's the only thing he knows is that they're going to do that and that the low man is either going to help early or help late. And if he helps late, you throw to Michael Porter. If he helps early, you throw to Bruce Brown. That's actually the only calculus here. And it's just funny that nobody else sees it. And
I know.
It's funny that he can distill the game down into the one thing that matters on any given possession.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, yeah, you guys do this, so I only have to read that guy. Okay, nope, he didn't help. Layup.
And
He does help.
By the way,
so easy.
That's the beauty of having Michael Porter Jr. on the court too. You can see the indecisiveness in real time. They're like, "Well, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave it him.
Totally true. They're like, I think the right thing is to leave the 50%.
Technically, I'm supposed to leave him, but that doesn't seem
feels wrong.
It doesn't seem right."
Williams says Jamal Murray will play at an all-star level this year.
That's hot.
The way he phrased it, if you're talking about for the whole season, I would say wrong because we're already 8 games in and he has not been at an all-star level. If you tell me that by like January, February, or March, one of those months, he's playing at an all-star level, 2 pepper take. Two
Right.
pepper.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good players. Shay's
2 to 3 pepper take.
right now, who are the guards out? I mean, the West, if you go through, like Shea is now firmly an all-star player at this moment. It's only 8 games, but he's averaging 32 points per game.
Yeah.
32.
It's crazy.
So
Also,
like,
the thing about
2 of those games have come against the Nuggets.
yeah, but you want to know something funny? Not his highest scoring game.
Yeah.
37 is his second, but the last one was like 28 or something, which was his second lowest.
Oh, he's been crushing everyone. And by the way, he's not. He can't shoot, and it doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's actually kind of. This is a crazy comp. He's kind of like Luka, man, in that he's a counter puncher. That he dribbles real slowly. He doesn't make moves until you change your footwork, and then he attacks it. And he just has such good timing that as soon as you get yourself out, he knows exactly how to take advantage of everything you do. So he's almost never making moves that like you can't stop. He's just reacting to however you try to stop him. He's really good, man. Let's see, what else do I got? Joker and Jamal are the best two-man duo in the league. They're the next Parker Duncan. What's funny when he put the last part there, the Parker Duncan part, nobody really called Parker Duncan the best duo in the league at any point, even though they might have been. There was Kobe and Shaq, and there was other guys, but they might have actually been. It's just they never were heralded as that.
Right.
They were respected, but never ranked. For whatever reason, Tim Duncan's just never ranked at anything. You know it? You ever notice that? But nonetheless, the best duo in the NBA, who are they competing with?
Well, we had this fun. We did a whole episode on this or segment on this one time.
Right.
It was a really fun conversation because as you start to go through this exercise, you realize like the staying power of a duo. You know, not just this season, but even like the last handful of years. It's that might be the avenue to the two of them together, kind of solidifying themselves in Nuggets history. But I'm curious, Winter, you think might be better at this point.
We don't have time to go through all of it. Just do you feel like it's a...
I think it's on the table by the end of the season, for sure. Just like I think it was on the table the last time Jamal Murray was fully healthy. I mean, best duos right now.
They're not duos. Like Ingram and Zion
Harden
are
and
good.
Embiid.
Yeah, they're
probably the one that comes
duo.
to mind.
Those are two good players, but they're not a good duo.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
Booker and Chris Paul. Kind of like, but again, they don't feel like a duo. They're two good players playing alongside each other.
Guard big man duo, I think.
Right.
Yeah, Michael Shields says Jokic will not win MVP. This regular season is for molding a true Jokic ball team. But as Finals MVP, he will redefine what it means to be the best player through both his own play and, even more, the elevation of plays of his teammates.
God, our people are so smart.
One pepper take. We
have the smartest basketball IQ fans.
4 pepper take on the Nuggets winning the Finals and him be getting Finals MVP. Like that's still a long shot, but if it does happen, 100% that's going to be how we talk about it. So I like it. Matthew says, when the playoffs start, Christian Brown will be closing games for the Nuggets. 4.5 pepper take.
Really
hot. 4 pepper take.
But you know something? Not a 5 pepper take.
Right. It's not a 5 pepper take.
Man, Malone sure loves him.
What kind of player is Christian Brown for his career?
Defensive, low mistake defender.
Yeah.
Low mistake defender, and if he can make the 3 like he's been shooting with confidence lately, then he's like an elite 3-and-D player.
He probably turns into hopefully turns into the kind of guy that every team and media guy around the league, you look at him, you got a little bit of roster envy. We can use one of
I'll
those.
tell you this.
We could use one of those.
I think low end, this is going to sound crazy, but low end, I think he is Royce O'Neal, who's a very good defensive player. But like he's not that dynamic on offense, and as much as he can shoot in big games, do you want to hang your hat on him making wide open threes? Like maybe not. But that's the low end. High end, his offense has some work to do. He needs to develop a little bit of a handle. He needs to become a better finisher or what have you. But defensively, man, if he just adds a little bit of usefulness offensively, I think he becomes super dynamic.
I'm wondering if he's Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks more of he's a dog. They're different. Dylan Brooks way more dynamic on offense.
Well, I mean, I'm saying
he's
long
also,
term. Maybe he's Dylan Brooks,
but also,
obviously not right now.
Dylan Brooks also like is so far outside the lines. Dylan Brooks would be a better player if he had more Christian Brown control him, but he's way more skilled.
I'm just saying, like impact.
Yeah. All right. Josh says the defensive growth won't start happening until the offensive growth begins to stabilize. I like that one. I kind of like that one. I think that's a good take. I don't even think it's a hot take. I think it's a good one.
Solid.
I always connect these two things. Like sometimes your offense breeds a little confidence in your defense.
Especially with a lot of turnovers involved.
Pablo says AG might really shoot over 40% from 3 this season.
Just 5 pepper take.
Five. That's a 5 pepper. I think he's at 20% right now, guys.
Yeah.
So that would be
little recency bias. Just a little bit.
What is he at actually? I could be way off on this, but I
mean,
think
he probably upped his 3-point percentage a lot just from.
He's at
last
30%.
night.
He's at 30%.
Okay.
So 29.6%. I'm still going 5 pepper take, man. Although I will say his threes last night, very confident, very clean.
They look good.
Were they pure? They weren't rattlers. They weren't rattlers. He had some string music.
Magic fan flowchart. It's really just about his shooting. You're like, this is the worst shooter in the league. It looks better this year.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. Sam says Mike Malone will use complex and thought out rotations. No more hockey rotations. I'll tell you what, 2 pepper take.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 pepper take. I think we're there.
I think so,
I think he's doing it.
He deserves, coming into the season, I thought that was going to be one of the biggest stocking, and I still think it is. It's just that it's been in the affirmative.
Totally.
I think it's disguised how much Michael Malone has adjusted what is, to this point, a very real trend in his coaching career. I think he's made an adjustment there, so he deserves a little credit, but we'll see. I mean, only 8 games. We'll see if this continues.
Plenty of time.
Denver Omelet says Bruce Brown will be in the starting rotation mid-season. I just don't think so. I think
without an injury happening, that's a 5 pepper take.
I just think it doesn't matter. Like, he comes off the bench, it doesn't matter. He plays he played starter minutes last night.
Yeah, just stagger and you're good.
He just staggers. Let's see. Oh, Jake Coyne, aka Bronco Squatch, aka Stat Squatch, says the best form of the Nuggets roster isn't the one where Jokic scores 30 points per game, but the one where he facilitates and saves some energy for the defensive end while still taking over the game offensively for small stretches here or there.
Agreed.
1 pepper take.
Yeah, that's the case. Jake, not a hot take.
Yeah, he's not really
not cut out for it.
Good at a lot of things. Coming up with real hot takes, steamy,
the most
controversial,
accurate take.
But it is a meaningful one here because a lot of talk has happened, and even on the timeline last night, I got my guy RB. I disagree with the take, and I think a lot of people disagreed with it. Listen to the pod. He walked back a little bit. We just see it differently. We'll see how the season goes. But he really is still bothered by the way Jokic is playing, even last night. Last night, I honestly think he had the right mix. And I think in the third quarter, he started to take over. And in the fourth quarter, to your point, he had 8 points. Like, I just think that he can pick his spots better. The difference, though, and the one thing I think Ryan is 100% right on is you are more of a facilitator on the offensive end. You're in the post less on the offensive end. Like Jokic, we know he can score if he goes down there, and he's just not even going down there. But that's because you save energy for the defensive end. I think Jokic has saved energy.
Not used it.
But not used it.
Yeah.
So, stored up energy. And maybe it is like Jokic's been through some grueling seasons, and he just knows, like, hey, man, trust me. I'm good. Totally. It's November. Totally. I know exactly how much fuel I have in the tank. I'm good. Maybe.
But he can play defense.
But last night, like a lot of people said, if Murray didn't take over, the Nuggets don't win that game. Maybe.
I said that
on the post-game But I'm saying a lot of people have said it. And my whole takeaway is this. Maybe. It's not like the Nuggets were down 10. They were down 1. Murray absolutely stepped up and won that one for him. But I just think that Jokic was in the process of also being like,
I agree with
I have to do the annoying thing tonight and press myself a little bit harder. So maybe not. But I do think that Jokic has sort of stepped up. The times that he hasn't this year, Portland, when he got into foul trouble, and I think that was what took him out. And then Anthony Simon, by the time he checks back in, Anthony Simons had made 7 straight three-pointers. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not trying to excuse him for it. I'm just saying that I think that more often than not this year, he has actually picked little pockets to be super aggressive, and those pockets have opened up the game, and that's more important. So, Jake, 1 pepper take. Sonny, actually that's the same one. BK19, full straight Nuggets is a nightmare matchup for the Bucks. 2 pepper take. Nightmare? No, because that's a good team. But I do think of all the good teams, like really good contending teams, the Bucks seem like the easiest one, in large part because Giannis is one of those players you can give a padding to. And I think that they're best when he's the center. And I just think we've seen Jokic, even in EuroLeague, the things he is bad at defensively are not the things Giannis is good at offensively.
Right. I also don't think the Bucks are going to throw anything at you that's surprising.
They're just going to make you work for it.
You know what the Bucks are going to do.
Yeah, I've always liked that matchup for Denver.
Denver's been good against them. D-Town says the Nuggets will sweep anyone they play in the first round.
5 pepper take.
5 pepper take. Until they do it, that's a 5 pepper take.
I'll go 4 pepper take. It's spicy, but it's not that inconceivable, man. This team's good. They match up.
But they're incapable of a short playoff series.
Again, it's 4 peppers. I'm not saying you were saying 5 because you said incapable. I just think they're very unlikely. But
the closest they've come is 6.
But they've also only played in 2 playoff series where they've had their roster. So
I understand.
My point is, if they've told me that the Nuggets matched up with, let's say, Portland this year and they won in 4, I would not be like, no way, they beat Portland. Right. They're like, yeah, it's a team that they're just better than, I think, even though they got smacked by Anthony Simons. Here's Joshua saying the best lineups only feature 2 of their 4 best players. But then he lists their 4 best players as such: Jokic, Jamal, MPJ, Bones. That's not their 4 best players. AG is their 4th best player in my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
And if that's the case, then no, I think you still need 3 of them. If Bones is the 4th best player, then absolutely, I think their best lineups probably feature 2.
Right.
2 of those. You're really talking about the big 3, 2 of the 3. Although I will say this, you guys want to know a crazy stat? 2 most used Nuggets lineups so far, the starters, and the starters with Bruce Brown in for Michael Porter. Which one would you guess is better?
I think it's with Michael Porter.
Bruce Brown, right? 9.1 net versus 8.6. Almost identical. Exactly identical, but here's the crazy part.
The defense.
Michael Porter version, way better on defense. Way worse on offense. The Bruce Brown one, way better on offense. Way worse on defense. Small sample size, guys. All small sample size. But just kind of funny. This happened, was it last year this happened? Where early in the season when Michael Porter was on the court, the Nuggets had like a 91 defensive rating for somehow. And it was like, so I don't know. Maybe there's just something too. Porter always looks horrible on defense, and it's always a net positive somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me see if there's anything up. That was all. We had a couple other ones. Do you guys want to give yours real quick here?
Career high for AG is 41 points. I think he did it against the Nets as a Magic.
What's that?
I think he did it against the Nets as a Magic. Career high 41 for AG.
Really? You think he's going to break it?
My hot Bach and hot takes. AG breaks that this year.
Wow! 42-point game from AG would be insane. But you know what? He is scoring the hell out of the ball.
You get a game like last night, but the mismatch is just present the whole time. And, the rest of the team isn't shooting 40% from 3. And Jokic just spams the AG button.
He's averaging more than Jamal Murray right now. 15.4 to 15.3. It's kind of wild.
I think Nikola Jokic has a 20 assist game this season.
Jesus. His
career high is 18. I think he has a 20 assist game.
Here's the thing. Jokic assisting usually means you're up a lot. He had 13 last night, and they were up for 15 by most of the night. They did have a blown third quarter, so maybe that's it. The Nuggets get up 20. They blow it all in 3 minutes.
The bench plays really
So he
bad.
has to come up and have another monster one.
Yeah, I think he gets a 20 assist game.
Just if Jokic has 20 assists, the Nuggets are scoring 120 that night, and so
it might have to be. Yeah, they would.
So I just don't
defense optional game, which is very.
What's his career
believable.
high?
18.
18?
He's so close.
God damn. 18?
How is he at 18?
And that was in 2020, I think.
That's
and
crazy.
This roster right now is so much better offensively.
He has 2 games right now with 13 plus assists this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might be right, man. Mine is the Nuggets will have 2 of the best 5-man lineups in the NBA by the end of the season. This is not that spicy of a take, I don't think, because we already see. I just said plus 8.6, plus 9.1. Both numbers go up, I think.
Nice.
I think the Bruce Brown Nuggets and the Michael Porter Nuggets both have a monster regular season net rating. It's crazy that those guys are already at the basically plus 9 each of them, both of those lineups, and we feel like they haven't really caught their rhythm yet. Murray's still not scoring this or that.
Yeah.
People it's funny, nobody's really talking about the Nuggets. Good thing, because they haven't been
Nobody's
good
really
or
talking
bad.
about
They've just kind of been.
That's a good point, too.
Nobody's talking about basketball. Nobody's said anything too anti-Semitic yet on the Nuggets. Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood here.
But I will say this: they haven't been noteworthy, the Nuggets, yet. When people ask me about them, this or that, how have they looked? I'm like, they've looked like a good team that hasn't put anything together yet. Yeah. That's kind of what it looks like. And most of this is Jamal. I do think that once Jamal is back, and I'm more confident after last night's game that he will be back in some point in the first 30-ish games. That once they get back, I just look at they're already plus 9 with both of the configurations of the most used lineup. That lineup is going to be a plus 12, plus 13, and it's going to be volume. It's going to play that, and I think it wins its minute. Those 2 combinations of lineups are going to win their minutes 9 out of 10 times.
I agree.
So
I agree.
9 out of 10 stints. All right, hit that outro music there, Kale. Whew. Friday show. I was feeling very casual. Did we even go a little bit long? We went a little bit long. We went way long today, guys. That's how much good questions and good stuff we had to talk about.
I just stopped answering your questions, so we
I
can
appreciate
get out
that.
of here.
That does it, though, for today, guys. Tomorrow, the party bus. Come down to the bar. Even if you're not on the bus, come down to the bar, have a drink with us, and then after the game, you'll be here. We'll have a good time, especially if it's a party tomorrow. If the Nuggets get a nice win, smack down the San Antonio Spurs, we'll have a good time together. Everybody hit that like button on the way out. Hey, we got some really good ratings and reviews the last couple days, man. You guys know if you get a really good one, we might have to work it in on the Apple Podcasts app. Sure. You leave us a rating and review. We'll have to read these on the Winner's Lounge or something tomorrow. Or maybe when we have guests on the show tomorrow, we'll make them read our reviews.
Welcome to the show. Read our 5-star reviews.
Will you say this nice thing somebody said about me to me? It's going to be great.
I'm good with it.
Hit the like button on the way out.